Oh,
um, go ahead, sorry.
how are you? Are you good?
I'm good, thanks. Not quite.
Yeah, nice.
What's
nice.
that?
It looks tropical over there, more tropical than here in Prague.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is fake background. Are you guys, where are you guys?
We're in Prague at the moment. Yeah.
Still there? Are you still filming the first season?
Season two. Season 2.
Oh, you started on season 2 already?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's great. That was one of my questions. So had you read the books before you started filming?
No, I hadn't heard of the books, but as soon as I kind of got the part, I was blown away that I actually hadn't, because they're so kind of highly regarded, and there's so many like 90 million copies have been sold. So yeah, I quickly started reading Eye of the World and The Great Hunt before we did season 1, sorry.
Yeah, same. When I got the part, I started reading the next day, and I haven't finished it yet. I'm at book 11 now, and I'm climbing that mountain. I'm not at the top yet, but the view from up here is pretty good already.
Oh my God.
And I just keep on going.
Sound bites.
And as a follow-up, how closely how closely does the series follow the books?
Well, it's not a one-on-one adaptation, but I'm sure that it does the book justice. It takes the fundamentals, the essentials of the book 100%.
Okay, great. I'll let someone else have a chance.
Thanks, Suzanne. We're going to go to Kyle now. We'll do a question each, and then we'll go around again if we've got time. So Kyle, thank you.
Well, hello. It's nice to be here and meet you guys.
Yeah,
My question will be, what was the weapons training like? Perrin, I guess, Marcus, you mentioned that you haven't really read the books, but Perrin's an axe wielder himself. Rand, in the early episodes, uses a bow often and then moves more to be a sword master. So what was it like training with those weapons? Is it something you've ever done before, or was it completely new to you?
Yeah, it was pretty new to me, but I think, yeah, when we started, we had kind of like quite an intense sort of stunts workshop. I think in that first episode, it kind of kicks off quite a lot. So we all had
Yes, it does.
fight scenes to work with. But yeah, no, it was really cool to kind of work with an axe. I think obviously is something that Perrin has a particular relationship with as we kind of move forward. But from the off, to kind of work with that particular weapon was really, really cool.
I had some sword fighting in drama school, but it didn't feel like it was very useful, because the kind of sword fighting we did was definitely more vicious. But I guess, like you said at first, Rand is more familiar with the bow and arrow, so I had archery training, and later on, yeah, when we all started, we all had sword fighting training.
Well, thank you, and I'm excited to see how you guys develop as fighters on the screen.
Wicked. Thank you, man.
Can we go to Natasha from RT3, please?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Good. How are you?
Good. How long did it take for you guys to shoot the Trolloc attack in the Two Rivers?
Oh my gosh. I mean,
I think only the bit of Daniel only took a week on itself.
Yeah,
it took really long.
Yeah, Daniel and Rosman had a lot. They had like the bad short straw in terms of like how many night shoots they had. I think overall, I don't know how many, like it was weeks to get.
Yeah, a couple of weeks, I think.
A couple of weeks, or like 3 weeks. But it was kind of lots of different kind of battles, all kind of like merging into one. So when you kind of see it, we saw episode 1, it's amazing how they jump in between. But I remember, I remember being walking around Prague, like having days off, like who's filming now? And it was still like Rosman and Daniel were like still doing their kind of battle. So they did amazing.
Can we go to Paul, please?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good. How are you?
You're wonderful. Well, we're so happy to have you on with us. This show is so cool, and the story is amazing. And whether or not you've read the books or not, I think it maybe doesn't even matter. This does a great job of explaining it. But like some of the best sci-fi, there are things that are, even though it's a fantastical world, there are things that we can learn, or things that we can get out of this that are parallel to our lives. Well, what is it that you suppose people will sort of think about or take away that's sort of relevant to us as well?
I do think the aspect of like, you know, within the magical system of the Wheel of Time, there is kind of that male superiority is kind of flipped with the fact that it's only certain women are allowed to access magic. And I think, you know, that is just something that's quite cool to see on screen and something to think about, you know, if that power dynamic had been altered in that way, what would a world look like if men were, you know, to put it like the underdogs essentially. So I think that's something that's quite, you can kind of think about in a contemporary aspect as well.
Yeah, and on top of that, I guess it's also because, you know, the world of the Wheel of Time is so big, and there's so many different groups of people, cultures, different beliefs, and it's just as hyper polarized and divided as our world is, I guess. And it's I guess the whole show of the Wheel of Time is about finding that balance, and I think that's, you know, nowadays in this time, that is something that will be interesting to see for people.
Can we go to the Sci-Fi Talk podcast? Tony, please.
Hi, gentlemen. Great to talk to you and give Prague my best. I want to ask you both. You both are kind of, especially Perrin is carrying some baggage and some other feelings, but Rand is also carrying some things as well. Talk about that layer of your character. And I will say, speaking to Robert Jordan in '94, that he said a little bit of King Arthur is in Rand, by the way.
Yeah, that's nice.
King Arthur, yeah.
Just a little bit.
The Messiahs, yeah.
Yeah, I think in terms of that kind of baggage or what they kind of take with them, I think for Perrin especially, you know, from the start, he has a particular relationship with violence, and it's kind of brought to him in quite a kind of ugly way kind of early on. And I think it's something that he carries throughout season one. It's something that kind of is on his mind a lot, and something that he's very deeply kind of affected by, and he has a lot of feelings of guilt surrounding. But violence seems to keep on coming into his world, and he has to kind of realize, does he embrace kind of this animalistic side to him, or is there a civilized way that he can kind of maneuver through this world that Moiraine's kind of dragged him into?
Yeah, I think with Rand throughout this story, you know, it will, this bag will become heavier and heavier. More weight is being added throughout this story, and you I hope you will see what it costs, not only of Rand but of all these characters. And I guess, you know, all of these characters have to sacrifice bits and pieces of who they were in order to, you know, to what's right. And but at first, it starts in the Two Rivers, and yeah, that's where we have to start first before we go in this great arc.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Can we go to Matthew from The Escapist, please?
Hey guys, great to talk to you. So there's a lot of fantasy adaptations coming out right now, as you know, streamers build up their libraries and are looking for things to jump onto, and that means there's a lot of options for people to watch fantasy now. And so if I'm someone coming from this, you know, I watched 3 back-to-back trailers for fantasy shows with sweeping vistas and gorgeous magic and special effects. What makes the Wheel of Time stand out for that person? Why is this one special, both for you and in fantasy in general?
You know, the Wheel of Time is such a rich world with so much complexity, and it's, you know, the books are known for that. It's not for no reason that 90 million copies have been sold. Apparently there's something in it that people can relate to, that touches them, and what that is for me is, besides of, you know, that in this world of the Wheel of Time, women are the ones who are in control. If men use the power, they abuse it, or the fact that it's not simply black and white, good against evil, it's all shades of gray in between. Now, for me, what really makes this stand out is the characters, that you start to care for these characters, and that they're real. You know, they're no heroes. They have to go on this mission they never sign up for, and you can see their failures and their fears and what it costs of them, the sacrifice they have to make. And I think that's what makes the Wheel of Time special, for me at least.
Yeah, and that global cast, man. I think being able to see that they've been able to cast people from every corner of the planet, really, actors, you know, experienced actors, new actors, exciting actors who've worked in all different fields, coming together on one show like this, I think is very, very special, and I think reflects how expansive the world is in the books as well, which is really, really cool.
Thank you. And the last question goes to Eric. Thanks.
Hey, congratulations, guys, on the series. My question is, what the action scenes are so amazing in the series. Talk about a scene that was the most difficult for you to achieve, and what it was, and how you dealt with that kind of scale and size of the production that you got here, and how you dealt with those issues.
In terms of like, I mean, there wasn't too many kind of bumps in the road, but I think, you know, that first episode, you know, it was just so new to us, everything. So I think to have a first episode where you've got a lot of stunts and all the characters are involved, you've got a lot of background artists, supporting artists, you know, a whole village needs to be built, and then when you've got a big action scene on top of that as well, and you're very new to finding out these characters, and you know, you've got very key moments that kind of lay the foundations for these characters. It's kind of a weird kind of amalgamation of a lot of things happening at once. So I think that was quite daunting, but I think it was probably the best way to start the show, because it kind of set the tone that we, you know, there's not, the audience will realize in that first episode that you're kind of it all kind of kicks off quite quickly. And I think for actors on that, filming that first episode, it meant that we had to get a grasp of those characters, you know, their trajectories, and you know, and what they're really like in the books as well.
Can you, Josha?
Oh, I couldn't have said it better.
Nice.
Really.